This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon, it's Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. INEC's continuous voters registration is on. Use the opportunity to register to vote. On the news this afternoon, Labour Party appoints 19-member interim committee to rebuild River State chapter. Anambra records busy Monday at sit-at-home as sit-at-home ends after 5 years. On the foreign scene, President Trump threatens to block US-Canada bridge opening over compensation dispute. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. Now, the National Working Committee of the Labour Party has appointed a 19-man interim state working committee to oversee the party's affairs in River State. The appointment was announced in a statement jointly signed by the party's national chairman, Senator Nenadi Usman, and the national secretary, Senator Darlington Wokocha. Well, according to the statement, Frederick Woji was appointed chairman with Precious Nwogu, Godfrey Otamiri, Anthony Nwachukwu Nyeche Wodike, Lawyer Thompson, and Winwabo Harry serving as deputy chairman. Now, Chioma Atandikiari was named secretary. Other members of the committee include Chinedu Christian Anili and Bright Odom as assistant secretaries, Samson Woka as financial secretary, our former Jonathan as treasurer, Dr. Victor Tubo as publicity secretary, Onusaka Sainemi as youth leader, Bekewari Bob Manuel as women leader, Akaha Egono as deputy women leader, Ojukwu Christian as auditor, Mills Olo as legal advisor, and Ogoya Prince Will as organizing secretary. The statement says the interim leadership is expected to begin the process of rebuilding and strengthening the party in River State. Recall that on January 21st, 2026, the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that Senator Nenadi Usman is the lawful leader of the Labour Party and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize her leadership. On January 30th, 2026, INEC subsequently listed Senator Usman as the caretaker national chairman of the party on its official website. Meanwhile, the Julius Abure-led Labour Party in River State says INEC has not explained why the details of its candidates were not published for the February by-elections. The faction's National Organizing Secretary, Favor Ruben, made this known in an interview with our correspondent, Soebi Oruware, while reacting to the nomination list of candidates released by the electoral umpire. He, however, attributes the non-inclusion of the Labour Party candidate to the lingering internal crisis at the national level of the party.
We conduct primary, INEC observed the primary, all the processes was done. I don't know because they've not given us the reason, but I feel that maybe because of the challenge that the party is going through, that's the reason, and most of the party were not uploaded. So I don't actually know the reason why Labour Party was not uploaded, but we actually participated in the primary and fit in candidate. But INEC have not given us the reason why the candidate were not uploaded. But I believe that because of the issue that is happening in Abuja.
Reacting to the controversy surrounding the electronic transmission of results in the ongoing 2022 Electoral Act amendment, Ruben, a former Labour Party chairman in River State, also urges the National Assembly to oppose any move that would give INEC the power to decide how election results are transmitted.
And we are advocating as a party that transmission of result directly. So as a party, we are in support that direct transmission of result from the unit. They don't give power to INEC to decide on how to go for the election. Either they will transmit it or they will not do it. It means that they have already decided to rig this election. The National Assembly should give power to the public, not INEC. They should transmit this thing, no condition attached to it.
He further calls on Nigerians to work with the political class to resist what he describes as a deliberate attempt to weaken credible elections by removing electronic result transmission.
I'm very disturbed. You see, the reason why we wanted direct transmission of results so that credible candidate can win election. We don't want people who said, this is my godfather without my godfather. And that's why there's no development in Nigeria. And I think the whole Nigeria must rise up and make sure Senate and Rep do the right thing. Because remember 2023, they deceived us. And I think that they are deliberately doing what they are doing so that they can rig election. If people who think that they are very popular, they should allow free and fair election.
In the meantime, the Rivers State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress says it is waiting for instructions from its national body before taking any protest or strike action over the removal of real-time electronic transmission of election results. The state NLC chairman, Alex Agwanwa, told our correspondent Soebi Oruware that the union is committed to supporting Nigerians in opposing Senate actions that could undermine transparency and credibility in elections.
Anytime we are called upon for any action, we are always available. Because the national has not actually communicated. We have seen the bulletin from the National Secretary condemning the act of the National Assembly. For us, it's something that all Nigerians who think about democracy in this country must condemn. Our institution may be very strong. So we say anything for oppression or manipulation of electoral processes. The state have a job to do. If they don't do it for us as the state council, nobody directly for the National Secretary. We are ready to carry on. We are standby.
Well, still talking about the electronic transmission of election results from Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai. I beg your pardon. Former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai is blaming Senate President Godswill Akpabio for the controversy over the proposed Electoral Act amendment. In an interview on Trust TV, El-Rufai says the Senate itself is not the problem, but Akpabio, whom he accuses of acting on behalf of powerful political interests and being a lapdog to President Bola Tinubu. He urges senators opposing the amendment to unite and resist it when the National Assembly reconvenes. He dismissed the formal respect usually given to the Senate. In the meantime, the Senate has called an emergency plenary session for today, Tuesday, following widespread public backlash over its decision to remove a clause on real-time electronic transmission of election results from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. In a statement signed by the Clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, senators were directed to reconvene by 12 noon. Let's go on a quick break now. When we return, businessman accuses landlord of illegally removing roof, claims 3.5 million naira loss. Stay with us. You're welcome back. Now, for the first time in over 5 years, markets, schools, and other public places across Anambra State were busy on a Monday as normal activities returned. In Awka, the state capital, residents went about their daily businesses freely amid a heavy presence of security personnel along major roads. The development follows an announcement by the indigenous people of Biafra over the weekend, cancelling the Monday sit-at-home order. This came after Governor Ifechukwu Masoludo announced sanctions against anyone who continues to observe the sit-at-home directive. Speaking with our correspondent, the convener of the Recover Nigeria project, Osita Obi, said the sit-at-home had ended years ago, but was being enforced by non-state actors and criminals who relied on fear to intimidate residents. He expressed satisfaction that the will of the people has finally prevailed.
Fear is the weapon they use. They drive fear into the mind of people. Criminals discover that fear is the anthem. That's the weapon. They drive it into the mind of people. And if you see that one has failed long time ago, it's just fear. But Soludo took a prompt action, fantastic action. So their statement is elected. It's just first 7 statements.
Also reacting, a professor of environmental law, Theodore Okonkwo, describes the return of Monday activities in the southeast as a major victory for the people. However, he warns that the government must do more to build public confidence in order to sustain the gains.
It's a welcome development, is overdue. The only thing I personally quarrel with is the crude method and the dictatorial method employed by our governor and the threats, coercion. But be it as it may, today there's improvement. We pray for that. But one thing I should say is that killings have continued in Anambra State. Security is deteriorating. So look at what happened in Ogidi and elsewhere. And Mr. Governor, he's trying, but he has to do more.
Meanwhile, former Public Relations Officer of Ohaneze Ndigbo River State Chapter, Mazi Felix Chikwendo Owoma, is praising the Anambra State Governor for ending the Monday sit-at-home in Onitsha and other areas. Speaking on Nigerian FM's Hard Fact on Monday, he says the sit-at-home hurt the Southeast, especially ordinary citizens, and welcomed the recent announcement by IPOB spokesperson Emma Powerful ending the protest.
And you're imposing an emergency and unnecessary holiday, adding to the weekend, making the weekend too long for the businessmen and all that. Some people will say that it's an opportunity for them to rest or to have enough rest, but it helps in impoverishing the economic development of the Southeast. Because whatever they generate in 5 days or in 6 days in a week, they are losing 1 day. At the same time, you should also remember there are people who live on daily basis, who their life depends on what they're able to make for the day for themselves.
He also explains that the role of the Apex Igbo culture, a social-cultural group, in ending the sit-at-home, adding that most of the violence linked to the protest was not caused by the Igbo people.
Some of the crimes that were being committed were people who came from different places to come and commit crime in the name of one thing or the other. You see women, your mother, carrying okra, coming out from the farm on a Monday morning, you just wait to your mother and shoot your mother or bring her down and use an axe to hack her down. I'm talking about the things you saw on video. Igbo man does not think like that. Igbo man is not that evil. We are not evil people.
Well, away from that, a businessman, Marvin Comrade, has accused his landlord of removing the roof of his apartment without his consent after he reported that some parts of the roof were leaking. Speaking to our correspondent, Comrade says the agreement was only to repair the affected portions of the roof that were leaking and not to completely remove it. According to him, the deroofing process lasted several days. He alleged that during this period, rainfall entered the apartment and destroyed several personal belongings, which he estimated to be worth about 3.5 million naira.
I had just requested for the management of the place to just come and take care of a leaking portion of my house. All of a sudden, what they did without my own consent was to remove the entire roof of the building. It was not agreed between us and them. There was no proper arrangement for me to know the extent of work they are going to do there for me to be able to secure or take my belongings out. Getting to 31st of January, it heavily rained that day and everything in my house got damaged. My mother was with me inside the house. My wife was with me inside the house. There was nowhere for us to run to, nowhere for us to take our belongings to.
Well, Comrade is demanding full compensation for the damages incurred, adding that the amount offered by the building management does not adequately cover his losses. He warned that failure to replace the damaged properties would leave him with no option but to seek legal actions.
It was so bad. I now started calling the attention of the agent. He never answered my call until 10 p.m. of that day when we have decided to leave the place because the place has gotten messed up. Nobody can stay there and I've been stranded since then till today. I have valued the property, my properties that has damaged. The value of the properties amounts to 3.something million. The response of the agent and the landlord was that they were going to give me 500,000. I want them to pay for my damaged properties. I can't accept that. If they don't replace it, then they have to face the law.
However, when contacted, the agent in charge of the building disputed his claims, stating that Mr. Comrade was duly informed before the roof was removed. The management said temporary accommodation in a hotel was provided for him and other tenants while the roofing was ongoing. Comrade has, however, refuted this claim of hotel provision, insisting this was only offered after the rain destroyed some of his properties. And now to local government affairs. The chairman of Eche local government area, Chima Boniface Njoko, has sworn in newly appointed special advisors, supervisors, senior special assistants, and members of the committee on abattoirs. It marks another step in strengthening governance at the grassroots level. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the council headquarters in Okehi. The HA chairman also swore in 54 senior special assistants and a 5-member committee on abattoir, charging them to carry out their duties with diligence, transparency, and dedication to public service. Njoko assured them that his administration is open, emphasized that is on merit, competence, and the need for balanced representation across the clans.
Remember that in my teamwork, you are not the most qualified person. If you have been opportune, as you are now, to work under my administration as SSL, be rest assured that you are covered. And under my leadership, will I not tolerate anybody to sabotage this government? You are working here from today, all eyes on you to behave like it.
The HA chairman also used the occasion to announce that Aba Power Holding Company has successfully connected HA to Band A electricity, a move he said will boost economic activities, security, and improve quality of life for residents. In the same vein, the HA chairman, Chima Boniface Njoko, has directed all special advisors, supervisors, and senior special assistants whose communities have trees under the newly activated high-tension power lines to mobilize their people and clear the trees within 48 hours. This, he said, has become necessary to avoid disruption of power supply and damage to the newly activated power lines. The council boss also directed all communities with trees under high-tension power lines to remove them immediately to avoid disruption to power lines and safety of life and property. Njoko stated that the move is to facilitate the engineering test run of the power lines and subsequent switching on of the various transformers installed across HA. He advised the political appointees of the affected communities to ensure that the assignment is carried out with the urgency it deserves.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
President Donald Trump has threatened to block the opening of a bridge linking the United States and Canada unless the U.S. is fully compensated for what it has given Canada. Trump says the Gordie Howe International Bridge, which connects Ontario in Canada to Michigan in the United States, will not open until Canada treats the United States with fairness and respect. He made the remark on social media, adding that the U.S. should own at least half of the bridge. The bridge, which spans the Detroit River, is funded by the Canadian government but is jointly owned by Canada and the state of Michigan, according to the project's website. It is expected to open in early 2026, pending final tests and approvals. Construction began in 2018, but the project has been controversial for more than a decade.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news you heard, the Labour Party has appointed a 19-member interim committee to rebuild its River State chapter. We told you that Anambra State recorded a busy Monday at sit-at-home as sit-at-home ended after 5 years. And on the foreign scene, President Trump has threatened to block the U.S.-Canada bridge opening over compensation disputes. The news was edited by Ifunanya Obemendukwe. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.